It's really amazing to see what 3D software and now even AI can do in the smile design environment. From automated setups, nice initial suggestions, natural morphologies, beautiful augmented reality simulations, immediate before and afters. It is really impressive and very useful for us as smile designers to learn and leverage all these tools. But it doesn't matter what technology is already doing, and by looking into the future, what technology will do for us in the near future, there are still things when it comes to smile design that are 100% dependent on your know-how, your human skills and know-how. I want to highlight 10 things that software and AI will not do for you when it comes to smile design. Number one, evaluating and modifying a smile simulation. So the basic, when a computer, a software, an AI solution suggests a smile for you, is still completely dependent on your know-how to evaluate it, to see what is good and what is not good. And of course, to create the modifications that will make that design even better. Number two, evaluating and modifying a diagnostic design. So not only a smile simulation, but a diagnostic, facially driven, functional smile design. We need to be able to see through the 3D design and compare that design with the existing situation of the patient and judge that initial suggestion and understand what makes sense and how to make it even better. Number three, adapting the design to clinical possibilities. That's huge. 3D software, computers, and AI will suggest and will get better year after year, but there's still a huge gap between an initial smile design suggestion and what is possible clinically. Is that initial smile design creating an unrealistic situation? If it's unrealistic because of financial reasons, because of time reasons, because of clinical limitations, because of perio limitations, bone soft tissue limitations, occlusion limitations, ortho limitations, restorative limitations, implant pre-existing conditions, limitations, it doesn't matter. The initial design is a starting point. The initial suggestion is a starting point, and it's up to you as a dentist, as a technician, as a smile designer to judge what is realistic, what is common sense, what is feasible, what is possible, and how to adapt, modify this initial design to something that makes more sense. Number four, adapting the design to the approved treatment plan. That's very important. You can get an initial suggestion from AI. You need to then interpret that initial suggestion, adapt to the most ideal possible design, and then you have to go through the treatment plan process and make final treatment planning decisions. And these decisions are not always complete or not always ideal. There's many factors that will influence those decisions until you get a final treatment plan that is approved by you and, of course, by the patient. As soon as you and the patient have a definition of what is going to be done and what will not be done, you need to go back to the design and adapt the design to this final decision. So this is also 100% dependent on your know-how, your skills, clinical, technical, and aesthetic skills to make this adaptation, pre-treatment planning, and then post-treatment planning adaptation. Number five, adapting the design for ortho, surgery, and or restorative, meaning depending on what you decide that you're going to do, what you decide you can offer to the patient, what the patient accepted, what you decided that for any reason you will not do. So if you decide that this patient will go only through ortho, you need to adapt the design for ortho. If you decide that this patient is going to go through perio implants or surgery, you need to define and you need to adapt this design to those procedures that you decided you will do. If you decided that this patient is purely restorative, for any reason you're not going to do surgery or you're not going to do ortho, you need to adapt this design to that decision, or any of the combinations. If it's an ortho surgery case, an ortho restorative case, a surgery restorative case, or an ortho surgery restorative case, all of these situations will require a different smile design because they will impact the smile design project, and the smile design project will impact the procedures. Number six, adapting the design after ortho, after surgery, and after restorative. So previously I said you need to adapt the design for these procedures, but after the procedures are done, you need to adapt the design for whatever outcome these procedures generated. So you need to adapt post-procedure. So you do a design to guide your ortho, you do the ortho, and then you need to adapt the design to the realistic outcome that ortho gave you that is possibly different than the ortho simulation that you planned before. The same thing with perio procedures, surgical implant procedures. You need to adapt the design to plan and execute these procedures, but then you need to adapt the design after the procedure was done to the realistic outcome of the procedure. And the same thing with the restorative procedures. Number 7, developing the possible best design over implants, over abutments, and over preps. That's the next thing that AI and software will not do without your human brain. That is, as soon as you place an implant, as soon as you have an abutment, as soon as you have a prep, now you need to adapt the design to this new reality. You need to adapt the design to the finishing line of the abutment, to the position of the implant. You need to adapt the design to the finishing line of your prep. You need to adapt your design. And there's a lot of human skills and experience and technical experience, clinical experience, and artistic know-how to make the best adaptation from a perfect, previously suggested AI simulated smile design to the reality of your finishing line of your prep, for example. There's a lot of know-how. That's basically what I do every single day in the lab. I'm adapting designs to the reality of the preps. Now that the prep is done, the finishing line is set. You need to do the best design possible for that finishing line position. Number 8, deciding on the link between design, occlusal vertical dimension, and occlusion. That's another thing. Very easy to develop a perfect upper-lower design with beautiful simulations. Now it's time to really deep dive into occlusion and function and occlusal vertical dimension and use your human skills to decide what is the vertical dimension that you want for that patient because of a combination of factors, and how this vertical dimension will impact the design, how the design will impact the vertical dimension, how the occlusal scheme will impact the design, how to adapt the design to give you the best occlusal scheme. And that's when you're bringing function and aesthetics together in the reality of the patient, completely customized for the situation of the patient. Number 9 thing that software and AI will not do for you when it comes to smile design. Number 9, developing the best possible design in harmony with the gingiva. That's an art. Understanding the soft tissue limitations, the soft tissue defects, the soft tissue non-ideal situations, and creating the best design to camouflage these limitations, make the best possible outcome to overcome a compromised situation. And the majority of patients don't have perfect soft tissues, don't have perfect bone support, don't have perfect papillas, don't have perfect gingival outlines, don't have perfect gingival volumes. And you need to be an artist of smile design to move an ideal perfect suggested design into the best possible design to camouflage all these limitations, many of these limitations coming from the gingiva. And number 10, and final thing, that technology and AI will not do for you when it comes to smile design, that you still depend on your human skills, clinical, technical, and artistic skills, is developing the best design considering the desired color change and material selection. So the restorative know-how, the stump shape, the volumes, the clearance that you may have or may not have, and leveling and measuring all these different factors to adapt the design to take the best out of the situation, overcome the challenges, and make the patient happy. So don't be fooled. Technology is doing an amazing job. But when it comes to smile design, there's still a lot that a dentist and a technician needs to know to be able to call themselves master smile designers. And that's exactly what I teach on my smile design course. Join me and become one. Cheers.